Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WCFL DolFans Talk. Yeah, it's been a while since you've seen this ugly mug, but I'm here tonight, and I'm back. I hope you all enjoyed the draft. I'm happy. I have records that I did actually call for Chop Robinson to be our first pick, but we're going to go on with that a little bit. Let me bring on our hosts and co-hosts and everyone else. First, we have Mr. Winters. How you doing, Saul?
What's going on, everybody? Papa Paul, it's a pleasure, brother. How you today, man?
Oh, I'm above ground and upright. That's all I can ask for.
Absolutely.
Mr. O'Hanlon, what's going on, my brother?
What's up, guys? How are you? Good. Glad to have you back from your vacation, Paul. Winters, saw you last night, brother.
My God, what's up, John?
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm tired. Got tired of losing money in the casino.
You could have spent 100 of that, and we could have had a show last week.
Yeah, I hear you. Mr. Tom O'Gara, how are you doing, my brother?
What's going on?
What's up, Tom?
That's excellent. Go to the casino. I'm losing it for you. It's up and down, roller coaster.
Let's go. Hey, Tom, let's go. Tom, it's not over yet.
I'm not surprised, honestly. You got your get back game. You got your get back at least.
One of our regulars, Shake Money.
Yo,
what's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, listen, I hate the Knicks, so go Philly.
How you guys doing again? Oh, you're about to be beat right now. Oh, sorry.
We're
you're down by 30 right now? Oh, jeez. It's been 30 years. Let me have this one.
We're going to bring on our original guest for tonight, Mr. Mike Oliva. How you doing, Mike?
How are you?
What's up, Mike?
How you doing?
And then we had a second special guest, the fence assassin himself.
What's up, baby? Hey, guys.
What's up, Bobby?
What's up, Bob?
Good to see you guys.
You got to put a mask on. Nobody's going to recognize you.
Exactly.
The masks are in the closet, getting ready for the season. Getting ready for California next month. They're getting ready.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. We got 1 week. We find out the schedule.
Yeah.
Mr. Paul there on YouTube and Raphael and John Featherline. Appreciate y'all joining us. But I want to start off, because I know we only have Mike for about half hour, 45 minutes or so. I want to start off with just let's go straight to the punch and talk to him about his opinion on the draft and what he thinks.
Yeah, I like the draft. I think it's one of those things where what's your perspective on this? And I think the Dolphins' perspective this entire offseason has been, we're going to be good this year, obviously, win our 9, 10, or 11 games or more, compete for the AFC East, and hopefully win a playoff game and sort of end that drought. But the big picture here is we got some big contracts on this team. It's a top-heavy roster, and we need to start thinking about life after some of these players. Once we pay Jalen Waddle, it might not be feasible to also be able to pay Tyreek Hill. You have 2 top-end wide receivers making close to $30 million. So why do we use 2 late-round picks on wide receivers? Well, in a year or 2, we're going to need to have to replenish our wide receiver room. Why? Once we pay Jalen Phillips, it's probably not going to be feasible to also pay Bradley Chubb. Well, let's get an edge rusher too, which we'll need to play this year because of the injuries those guys have coming into the year. But big picture approach, they're going to have to replace Chubb on a cheaper contract because once you pay Jalen, you can't afford big contracts everywhere. So in the short term, these guys we picked this year, the edge rushers will play because they kind of have to because of the injuries. But the wide receivers, the running back's a third-string running back walking in. How much is a third-string running back play? Sure, he'll play some, of course. There's always going to be some injuries and stuff. But big picture, he's here to replace Mostert, so it's Achane and Wright moving forward. And with Armstead, we know retirement is in the near future for him. Kendall Lamb was also talking retirement. So we need a left tackle who might not play at all this year, actually, but to replace him long-term and be much cheaper. So if you look at this draft with a long-term vision, this draft fills the needs to replace the people we're going to have to move on from long-term. In the short term, I don't know if it moves the needle, makes this team any better than it was heading into the draft, but we have $18 million coming off the books June 1st. And there's a lot of unsigned veterans out there who we will sign on one-year deals to be a third wide receiver who'll play this year, to be a right guard who might play this year, to be a third safety, which we really don't even have on this team, to play this year. We'll get those guys post-June 1st, but big picture, this draft filled every need we need to fill moving forward to get those guys in the pipeline, coach them up, get them acclimated to the Mike McDaniel system, and next year, most of those guys are going to be asked to fill in larger roles and hopefully take us to the promised land where we all want to
go. I couldn't agree more with you, Mike. I watched Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on Facebook, but I watched your show, Stephen D. You know, you guys.
Thank you.
I didn't bother. I punch it in every day. I say fins up wall. It says Johnny O on it. That's me, but it's on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to listen to the talking heads on TV, so I just put you guys on Saturday night. My wife and I were actually at dinner, and I had the phone sitting up on the counter facing me, so I could hear it and she couldn't. I don't like listening to the talking heads on TV. I would much prefer just listening to you guys because it's Dolphins talk. It's just real. It's not, yes, it's biased.
Anything. No, we'll tell you the truth.
But it's also biased because it's our team. So, but you guys were just talking and you would say, oh, this pick came in and this is who they picked up. And okay, great. I'm not studying the guy anyway. He's not on our team. But I literally spent the entire 3 days with you guys on my phone.
Yeah, like with every one of these players, there's pros and cons. No player in this draft, I don't care if it's the number one pick or the guy picked last or an undrafted free agent, there's pros and cons. They're all raw to a certain extent. Are some guys more NFL ready than others? Of course. If we drafted Graham Barton in round 1, you can plug him at left guard or right guard. He'll start week 1 through week 17 this year and make that offensive line better this year. That's great for this year. But and every pick can't be an offensive lineman either because you have other holes on the team, like edge rusher's a big hole, safety's a big hole, wide receiver depth's a big need. We needed to diversify our picks. So they're like, look, if this year it ends up being Robert Jones or Liam Eichenberg at right guard, is it ideal? No. But we were the number one offense last year with a makeshift offensive line all season. And post-June 1st, we might be able to get a veteran guard on a one-year deal, reasonably priced, to improve that group. Let's not use a round 1 pick on a guy who's really a guard where there's not a lot of value in round 1 with guards or even a center. Let's get an edge rusher where there's a lot of value with edge rushers. And in this draft, there are only 4 very good ones. We got the last of the 4, which is great because then there's a fall off after those 4 guys who are like, they're good, but need even more work than like Chop would need. And then let's get a left tackle. Again, not expected to play this year. We know the flaws he has. A lot of these offensive linemen has flaws. Going from college to pro at left tackle, it's not easy. Now, we know Patrick Paul's got a lot to work on, but there's also a lot to like the size. Oh, my God, the size, the arm length. There's a lot to like. And in pass protection, I would say, he's not that far away from being ready. The run blocking, he's far away. I mean, he needs a lot of help in the run blocking. And so, but he's got a year to kind of figure it out with Butch Berry and Frank Smith, the offensive coordinator, used to be an offensive line coach. Like those 2 guys, plus all the other offensive linemen, it's a team. They're going to help out. They're going to he's got a year to get ready. There's no rush. If he's on the field this year, that means something went terribly wrong. Actually, let's hope it's not the case. There's no rush. So I understand the vision and the thought process because it's been the vision and the thought process since week 1 of free agency. They could have, once they lost Wilkins, we're not paying him $27 million. I get it. But they could have went out there and paid someone else, 17 or 18 or 16 million. They said, Stugatz, we ain't doing that either. We're going to sign 6-7 guys on 1-year deals, less than $2 million, and we'll get by this year. We're going to win a different way. We're not going to win with just overwhelming talent at every position because we have to pay Tua big money, and we will in the next 4 to 6 or 8 weeks. Whenever it happens, it's going to happen. And then moving forward, they got to pay Waddle. They got to pay Jalen. And hopefully there's still enough money to pay Holland. And if there's not, I think he would be the odd man out. It's unfortunate, But again, that's what happens in this league. You can't afford everybody. But they had to make tough decisions, and they're kind of riding status quo this year. They let some younger players go. They're going to go patchwork with one-year vets. Jordan Poyer just turned 33 last week. Shaq Barrett turns 32 in the season. Kendall Fuller, not necessarily better than Howard, but he's way cheaper. So I understand that move. Way cheaper. So that's what they're doing. One-year deals with vets to get through this year. But the long-term pieces are coming, and they were taken this past weekend. They're on the way, but it might not see the immediate impact this season that most fans hope for in the draft. And that's okay, though, because I understand the vision and the approach they're taking. And it's really a logical one. But some fans don't have patience and they don't want to sit through that. But we've been waiting this long. If we got to wait, what's one more year at this point, I guess. Yeah. And not that we're going to be bad this year. I'm not saying we're going to be bad. I'm just saying waiting for the pieces that we drafted this year to really get significant snaps will be next year.
Well, I know. I just seen an article today with all the one-year deals we signed. We have coming up after season 2024, we have 35 free agents.
Yeah.
But that's with all the one-year deals.
I
mean, we signed a ton of one-year deals.
Yeah, because I'd rather do that than overpay a marginal replacement for Wilkins. Overpay for a marginal guy. We're not paying him 27, but we'll pay you 18. Well, is he really worth 18, or are you just paying 18 because you didn't want to pay 20? So the guys we signed, that's to me, as we sit today on May 1st, the biggest concern of this team. There's two big concerns. Safety depth, we have none. I know we took a guy in this draft. It was 6th round. He's raw. He's a lot of work. Probably a practice squad guy this year, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Patrick McMorris,
yeah, out of Syracuse, yeah.
No, that was the kid from Arizona. Patrick McMorris.
Yeah,
from Syracuse.
Undrafted, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's fine because he's a 6th round pick. Kind of, what are your real expectations there? And then Elijah Campbell, who's a great on special teams. But again, do you really want to see him out there significant snaps at safety? Probably not. But right now, that's what you got. You got two guys.
I agree with you 100%, Mike. Why spend money on players that are not necessarily going to last, and then we owe them all this money for 2-3 more years or something?
Do a 1 year. And here's the deal. They don't want to be tied in with a lot of money because we know what's going on. Until they pay the quarterback Tua, we don't know how much he's getting. It's going to be a lot. That's what we know. I don't know. People can fight over 40, 45, 50 million a year. Who cares? It's a lot. It's going to eat up a lot of the cap. You hope you can keep Waddle. You hope you can keep Phillips, and you hope you can keep Holland. I think Waddle and Phillips are probably sure things because Chris Greer has a premium, and he puts an emphasis on the premium positions. And there's 5: quarterback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, edge rusher, corner. That's why Wilkins and Hunt, what do they play? Non-premium positions. Why are they not here? Non-premium positions. He ain't overpaying for those guys. Holland, unfortunately, not a premium position. But that might be an exception to that rule if they can pay him. I don't know. We'll find out in time. But I think the Waddle and Jalen and Tua, they're getting paid. So why do you want to tie up your cap with big money when knowing you don't know how much you're going to have to pay those guys? I think we know with Waddle, with the contract Devontae Smith got with Philly, it's going to be close to that. Maybe a little more, maybe a little. It's going to be close to that. So you kind of got an idea. Jalen Phillips is a wild card because he's hurt. He might want to not sign nothing now and wait till next year and play this out. He's totally fair. He can do that. And with Tua, I have no earthly idea where that's going to land. It's going to be a lot. I just don't know if it would be the highest quarterback in the league, which some people think, no way that can happen. Well, watch. It can happen.
Sure,
or if it would be like the 3rd or 4th quarterback, that highest paid one.
We'll
find out. Why are you going to tie up your cap with Jordan Poyer for 2 or 3 years at the age of 33? It makes no sense. 1 year deal, take it or leave it. He took it. Okay, great.
You're going to see a lot of that one year deal type things. A lot of teams are starting to adapt to that because, look at the Eagles, for example. You have over $200 million tied up in 6 players alone.
That's what happens when you draft well, too. So,
exactly.
Greer, I don't give him credit. He's drafted well recently to the point is he can't hold on to all these guys. Now, should he have once again, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. But when you draft well, especially in the early rounds, this is what happens. You can't keep everyone. We haven't had this problem in decades.
Right.
Thank God we got this problem.
Right. You got to
we'll
hit
have-
on it at least once every 3 years, so you have that, fifth year. I mean, I did hear they were talking to Holland today for contract. I mean, he's more immediate. You can wait the year on Tua, Phillips, and Waddle since you're doing the fifth year.
Holland,
so it gives
you
you a
can't.
little bit of
He's
time.
up after this year because he was taken at the top of round 2. Again, I like Holland a lot. I mean, I think he's really good. He would be the exception of like not paying a non-premium position, but you also have the franchise tag and play with him. And now, I don't know off the top of my head what a franchise tag is for safety, but it is a little bit less than what it would be for corner, let's say. So that could be a factor. Again, it depends on how much they're paying these other guys. If they can lock up these other guys a year early and not have to worry about getting them long-term deals. So we'll find out with Holland. He's the most interesting one because I think the other three, if it's not, I mean, 2 is going to get paid soon. That will happen. The other 2, this could go on to next summer. Who knows? But I think with Holland, he's the curious one because I could see it going either way. If he's not here next year, I wouldn't be shocked. But hopefully he is. I mean, he's very good.
Right, he's a Weber type guy. Fits.
Yeah, he's an every team type guy. He's very good.
Yeah, and he's also a fan favorite, so we'd hate to see him go, but
yeah.
Business is business.
Everyone wants to be here now. You see that happening. Everyone wants to play for McDaniel. Everyone wants to be here in the system.
Yeah, I mean, and that doesn't hurt. That helps. And, really, this team in the past 2 years has been so freaking close. 8-3 start, 9-3 start. They are right there. And I know everyone likes to point to injuries, and yes, the injuries are a factor, especially last year. Not so much the 8-3 start because they were 8-3 and they lost 4 games in a row with Tua. So I can't blame injuries on that one. That collapse was in full swing by the time, he went out. So that was that. But last year, the injuries would have prevented them from a deep playoff one. But that Titans game at the end, because when you blow that lead, that's coaching. Man. That's coaching. That is not injuries. You got 4 minutes left in the game. You need your head coach to bring that one home. Steer the ship home.
Never lied on that one.
That's right.
Totally agree. I was sitting in the stands for it.
And then the Bills game, you go into once again, I know it's tough.
Vic,
you go into the fourth quarter with a lead and your stupid special teams, which that coach, how he's still here, I do not know. And I'm sure he's a good man. I'm sure he's a nice person. But he has run a horrible special teams unit since the day he's been here. Survived 2 head coaches. I don't get what they stick with him. And the guy runs back a punt. And it's like the things, those are coaching decisions. Like Mike McDaniel sticks with this guy, and he stuck with him again after this year. So if the special teams this year stinks, I can't be mad at Danny Crossman. At some point, I got to look at the head coach and go, "What the hell are you doing?" Like at some point, he's responsible for this. He cannot just, say, "Oh, well, this, that, and the other." It's on you. And even in the playoff game or some other games he's coached. Look, everyone likes Mike McDaniel, but as a play designer, drawing up the plays, he's like an A+. Like there's nobody better than him right now. He is the creme de la creme. But when it comes to calling the game, sometimes he does goofy stuff. I mean, he really does goofy stuff. You're averaging 6, 7, 8 yards a carry. You get to 3rd and 1, he's throwing a sideways pass. What are you doing? Just because they think you're going to run, make them prove they can stop it. They haven't stopped it all game. Why are you getting away from it? It's like
Jimmy Johnson flashbacks.
Like why zig when they think you're going to zig? Just keep doing it. Run it down their stinking throat. Make them prove they can stop it. And it's not just that. It's like the challenges. He never wins. The only one he won last year is when a special teams coach screwed up. Only had 10 guys on the field. Was running one off. The refs thought, they must have 12 running one off late. They throw the flag. Mike McDaniel had a challenge and go, no, we actually only had 10. We screwed up, and you guys then screwed up on our screw. Like, he never won a real challenge. The only challenge he won because the special team coordinator was incompetent. It's like stuff like that he's got to get better at because that's really what's going to help take this team to the next step as well. Not just the players. He's got to call a cleaner game. He draws up the plays perfectly. But some of the stuff calling him, man, you sit there. You don't need to be Vince Lombardi. You don't need to be Ron Jaworski locked up in the NFL film studio all day to know this is basic football stuff you're screwing up at times. And sometimes simple just works. And I think he'll get there. I mean, I hope he gets there. I hope he gets there.
Mike, you sound like you've watched our show quite a bit because we've had this exact same discussion saying the exact same things many, many times.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, as I always say,
too. You don't need a 12-syllable fucking play.
Right.
Yeah, it's like fans of the Dolphins. I mean, there's so many great Dolphins fans, but sometimes they get clouded. It's like the truth is there in front of you if you choose to see it. And I know nobody likes to hear bad things about their team or people say like criticism about their team, but sometimes the criticism is very valid. And sometimes I think being a good fan being a good fan of a team is not just turning a blind eye to things, is saying, no, I love this team. I want to see this team win. This isn't working. That's wrong. We got to get better here. And voicing that opinion, voicing that displeasure, whether it's on a podcast like this or one of the shows I do or on like the radio or a reporter, that's needed because you have to hold those people accountable in power. Otherwise, they have no incentive to improve at all. And I think sometimes voicing opinions that, are uncomfortable to hear. It's like, geez, everyone throwing flowers at Mike McDaniel. Did you see how he ended the Tennessee game? What he did? Like, it made no sense. Did you see how he still can't get plays in a playoff game? I mean, there's things he's got to get better at. Okay, it doesn't mean he's got to be fired. It doesn't mean he sucks. It's not black and white. It's not labels, hater, lover. It's not that. It's just being honest, pointing out the truth, and having a real football conversation about it. It's what we've done at our site and at our podcast for over 10 years. And I think that's why we have a loyal following, is because people know we're not going to just say, no matter, we lost 42-10. Oh, we're close. We ain't close. We just lost 42-10. We're close. We're going to have criticism on today's show, folks. I'm sorry.
But don't you think if he makes the same mistakes after this season, the sheen's going to come off him? And, the rumblings are going to start if we
as it
do
should.
well in the beginning.
As it should. Year
Right,
3.
of course.
Everyone gets a honeymoon.
Real quick, I want to welcome David Lazada from
Hey,
the Dolphins
David, what's
Nation,
up,
Mexico.
man?
What's up, David?
Him and Bob both were at the draft. So
Hola.
How you doing? I can't see everybody, but I can see Papa Paul. I can see Johnny here on my right. It's hard to see. I'm actually at work still for a little bit, but yeah, I got to go in the inner circle. I'll tell you guys a little bit. I can only be on for just a little bit. You guys
My
have any
man
questions,
David,
please
what's up, buddy?
go ahead and stop me. The inner circle this year was actually smaller than previous years. We've been in the inner circle before. This year, there happened to be only 15 of us. 2 of them were Dolphin representatives, really the people in charge, Alex Hard and Matt. And then there was 13 of us. They picked them different this year. They picked some season ticket holders. There was, by my account, there was 8 season ticket holders. And then Wade and his wife, and then Armando and I, and another gentleman that accompanied us from Dolphin Nation, Mexico. So really, it wasn't as loud as we would have liked it to be. But I think we made enough noise the second day when Richmond came on.
How about that?
I think you guys can agree on that.
yep.
We were loud and proud.
I told him we got to scream when Richmond come out. I told him we got to scream.
Yep, and then with the chain that Richmond was wearing, that was actually the chain that we gifted him through.
That was awesome.
Through Christian, but it was a great time, man. The draft was great.
David, you can't see me, can you, David? It's Bob.
I can hear you.
Okay.
It's Bob, the Finsassin.
The masked man. Oh, now I can't hear him.
We can't hear you.
You just muted yourself.
You muted yourself,
David, you got yourself muted or something.
He doesn't realize it.
David, can you hear us?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear us, David?
He's going to have to repeat himself all over here again.
David, we can't hear you.
We can't hear
We can't
you.
hear you.
Oh,
No,
Go
it's
back.
fine.
whatever he just did, he saw something flash.
Yeah,
Yeah, something flashed.
Yeah, I muted and unmuted him. I don't know if
Oh.
we can't hear you, David.
Oh, shit.
You might have to leave and join back in.
Yeah.
Go out, come back. All right. Well, Bob, while he's having technical difficulties, you or Mike, since you're special guests.
Yeah. Well, like he was saying, the inner circle was absolutely awesome. It was
It's
a lot of fun.
it's saying his mic is muted. That's what it's saying. That's what he's saying.
His mic is muted.
No, it's not on my end.
Says not on his end, not on our end.
Tell him to go out and come back.
If you can hear us, go out and come back.
There we go.
Maybe I'll do it this time.
He might come back in a little bit. He's at the office. I told him we're on until at least 10.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, like I said, the whole experience with the Dolphins at the draft was a lot of fun. I liked the first pick. As a matter of fact, I was talking about with Nick today at the gym. We were talking, and he says you're going to really be surprised with this guy, Chop Robinson. He says the thing is he's super fast, and he says once he learns that bend technique, he says he's going to pretty much be unstoppable. And he just messaged me and said it said the host muted my mic, but I think you'll be able to tell them about the draft. Hold on, let me respond back.
Yeah, I muted and unmuted him because
If everything I'm reading,
you were not muted.
If everything I'm reading about
muted.
Chop, they're saying he's comparable to Parsons from Dallas. If he's 80% of what Parsons is, we got a fantastic guy.
Yeah, that's what I was pretty happy with all the picks. We did need another wide receiver, believe it or not. This guy can develop over time. I'm very happy they took an offensive line. Oh, there you are. Hey,
we can hear you now, David.
Hey, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. It just said that I was muted, but
well, your screen went blank.
It's
a black screen, and then you came back on, but then we couldn't hear you. And I was trying my mute button to see if it would mute or unmute and everything.
Got you. But this is an example of what I wear to work, which
I love it.
Everybody calls me Dolphin Man around here.
Yeah, I wear a Dolphin shirt every day.
I'm sure Bob can tell you we had a great time, man.
It was amazing. It was a lot of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Alex and Matt, they were both fantastic.
Incredible.
They were wonderful, and I had a great time. Being paid, even though the draft pick wasn't there, I got to go backstage and see the behind the scenes operations of the draft, and that in itself is pretty amazing. It's I got to go in the jersey room and see how they get the jerseys ready for when the players are announced. But it's pretty cool. It's like the network is on a 2-minute delay. The draft itself is on another minute delay, and you're back there before it even says the pick is in, any of that stuff. They know who the guy is. So there's like another extra minute behind the scenes that they're ahead of everybody. And that's
why
how
don't you tell us, Bob? We were sitting there all nervous. You could have told us. Now that you bring that up.
Well, you know what? I after I got back there, I figured out why I couldn't bring my phone back, because who the draft pick is. But even before the pick is in, and they don't want you putting that out. But to see all the runnings around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off behind the stage, to make all that happen was really fascinating. Now you guys see, I did get a picture the second night, but I got shortchanged because not only did I not get to walk the stage, they made me wait, and then of course the commissioner came down to you guys before I could even get back.
So do they stitch the name right then and there of the player?
They do. They have the whole thing going on. And
they have a heat press.
They sure do, and they can get the jerseys done in like 45 seconds. So they know, like I said, even before the pick is in, comes across the screen, they've already pressed the jerseys, because the producer goes in the director's ear inside the jersey room and tells them. And then, as I said, if it's not there, then it's like, well, thank you for coming back and seeing what we do back here, but now you can go back to your seat.
They probably have like 10 made up for each team. Like, these are the 10 possibilities we're going to take, and as it starts ticking closer, these are the 5, these are the 3, and then they know.
the way it was back there, they obviously have all the team jerseys blank.
Yeah.
But they have the names of all the different players.
They have the name of the players that are present.
Okay.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
share. I'm gonna share
Yeah.
the feeling before Bob left us to get on up there. To announce potentially the pick. Had it been someone that was there at the draft, Bob would have been up there with the jersey. But I got to tell you guys, Armand, Wade,
Yeah.
myself, the guys that were basically club leaders, we couldn't have been any prouder. And I went up to Bob. I'm going to share a tad of that conversation. We were proud of Bob for what he's meant to the organization, for the way he's represented our fan base, but more than anything, the way he's made an example out of himself for future generations through overcoming adversity. So we were honored to have Bob represent us. He meant a lot more than just the pick. It was more about everything that he's done. And I told him, like I said, I'm not going to get into the whole. But Bob and I had that conversation. We were very proud of him.
David. That was very. That was a very emotional thing you told me, and I appreciate that, man.
Well, you rocked it, man.
For any of our viewers that don't know Bob's story, if you're not friends with him on Facebook, friend him. He's got some stuff up there. It's very emotional. Bob's come a long way in the last how many years, Bob?
Well, 5 years now. I overcame a lot of adversity. See, I had tickets. I've been but this is going on my 53rd year of fandom, but I had tickets for for 25 years, and then I got hurt, and I went through like a 5-year odyssey of basically trying to kill myself thanks to unscrupulous doctors, and I almost died in 2014. I had a car wreck. I spent 2 months in the hospital in a coma. I almost severed my spine. I have a fused spine, and I was, I was pretty low. I wasn't sure I was ever going to walk again. And actually, after I had this accident, I felt that I was owed to be able to continue self-destructing. But I had to finally make a decision. I did everything I had ever tried to stop and change my life, to get off all this stuff and change, and I couldn't do it. That was the truth. I could not do it, but I had to finally. It was either do or die, and I had to figure out what I could use to change my life, and I started really reflecting back, and I said, what is the one thing besides my family that continuously throughout my life, through good and bad, football, the Dolphins were that one thing that always gave me joy and hope. And so when I was at my lowest point, I latched back on to Dolphins football, and just through reigniting my passion for football, I was able to make it long enough without making bad decisions to change my life. And then I was able to, get tickets again and start going to all the games. And then after going through what I went through, I realized that life really, truly is short. Life is not long, man. And you got to do what gives you joy. And that's when 3 years ago, two things happened. So part of my, everyone has their thing. People raise money for Dolphins Cancer Challenge. People do all of their things for the Dolphins. In other words, autism or whatever the case may be. Well, when I decided to start combining my initial love of wrestling, which Saul knows about, and my love of football, and I came up with this character and started wearing. I've always been a big wrestling fan. I've always loved lucha libre. I've always loved just wrestling in general. And as David was saying, lucha, especially in Mexico, is like a cultural big thing. And I've always loved I've always loved the Mexican wrestlers because they have the rudos and the technicals and the good guys, the bad guys, and they all wear masks. And so I said, well, let me get these masks designed and start wearing masks to games, home and road, because I go to all the road games, as everybody knows. And so as I started doing this, I started obviously drawing more attention to myself. But I wasn't drawing attention to myself trying to get known or trying to be a celebrity or anything like that. I have tried to get some sort of notoriety because I want to share a message. Because believe me, I know a lot of our fellow Dolphin fans that have issues. Some drink too much, they party too much. But my thing is, if I can draw attention to my what I have been able to overcome and put in remission, I basically call them remission. Because if you know anything about addiction, you only get daily reprieve. At any point in time, I can make a bad decision again. It could all be over for me. But in drawing attention to myself, I have fun with it, obviously. It enables me to connect with all of our fans around the country because they're like, I've never met you, but I've seen you online. And I actually had a guy at the Jets game last year come up to me and say, look, I know you don't know me. He said, but I want to know that how you talk about yourself and how you were able to change yourself inspired me to know that I could make a change. And he told me at that point in time, he had 10 months clean. And that's a big thing, man. If you're someone that struggle with addiction, just having a day clean is a big thing. Because I love people that always say, well, you know, why don't you just quit? Or Nancy Reagan or whatever, Nixon, or whoever it was, just say no. All this bullshit. If it was just as easy as just say no, everyone would say no. Because we've said no 10,000 times. But anyway, my point is, with what I do, besides my passion for the Dolphins, which have always been my passion, this platform enables me to get the word out that hope and change is possible. If you're struggling, and I don't care, it doesn't have to be drugs. It can be gambling. It can be alcohol. It can be sex. It can be whatever. There's another way out there. And I'm not saying you can necessarily do it through Dolphins football like I did. That was just my way of doing it. But I just want to share a message that there's hope out there and change is possible. Because believe me, when you're in the middle of it, you feel like you're the only one in the world. You feel like you're hopeless and helpless. And I'm just here to say that if this one time hopeless dope fiend can get rid of all of that and change, you can too. Change is possible. Change is available. Help is out there. Hell, I'm out there. If you're watching this, anybody who's watching this, if you have an issue and if you don't feel comfortable putting it out there and talking to anybody, message me. I'll talk to you. I'll point you in a direction. I'll do something because it's so worth it. You're worth it. And my life is worth it. I am living the dream today. I love my Dolphins. I love trying to help people change their life. I love going to games, and I love making all my Dolphin friends. I mean, I can't say the word love enough because that's where I'm at, man. And I'm grateful. I was grateful to the Dolphins for what they did for me, for the draft. I wasn't expecting that, you know, and to know that I was on their radar, that was pretty freaking cool thing, man. And
what's that? Good Morning Football too. I seen that on the little segment they did on you on Good Morning Football as well.
Yeah. Kyle Brandt. I actually saw him. He's like, Kyle Brandt walked by me and he goes, "You again?" He says, "Man, you're everywhere." Because I saw him at WrestleMania too. He walked by me with his kid. I took a picture of him and his kid. at WrestleMania. He goes, Is
Wow.
there anywhere you're not? And I said, bro, listen, I'm 60 years old, man. I'm 60 freaking years old. And I said, I'll be damned. I said, I don't know. The bottom could drop out tomorrow. I said, so I'm gonna do what I can while I can. It's not forever. And I tell people that.
You know,
No,
Bob,
you aged very well, by the way. Damn, you don't look 60 at all.
I agree with you 1,000%, Bob, because it was almost 6 years ago that I became disabled.
Right.
And as I was telling you earlier before the show started,
Right.
I went into a deep, dark depression.
Right.
But it's people like you and my Finlaws and my Fin family that helped me get out of it, as well as me helping people. You know, just making people smile makes me feel better.
It sure does.
And
I love
it's possible for anybody to get out of their holes.
Right. Listen, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be like a substance issue. Through good or bad, find something that gives you hope. You know, it's so funny. All my life, you know, I grew up here in Fort Lauderdale, and all my life, I would never go to the beach. I was too fat to take my shirt off, okay? 500-pound fat boy. I'm not going to be running around with all these beach bunny bodies out there. But anyway, that was another thing that it's kind of funny. The one thing that I hated all my life gave me so much joy. One day I went down to the beach and just sat on the wall and watched the ocean waves break. And it's crazy how the simplest things that you never cared about in your life turned out to be the things that give you joy.
Yep.
You know, and I'm fortunate because I don't have bad days. I have days with issues. The bad day will be the day I don't wake up. Then you guys can talk about me and say, "Damn, poor Bob." But you know, I'm a very grateful individual, man.
That's one thing I don't think we would ever say, Bob, is poor Bob.
Nope.
We would say we are grateful for knowing you.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. From the entire Dolphins family, for Bob, for Paul, what he went through, and then started this podcast and stuff. You know, this is what it's all about. Now, that being said, we only have Mike for a few more minutes. We got to get back to the draft.
Sorry, sorry, Mike. I just
no, you're fine. No,
that's fine.
No, what's your story there is well worth sharing. We can talk draft anytime. That's no big deal.
The draft was good though. I was pretty happy overall with the draft, considering considering everyone was complaining about what the draft was going to be and what the, you know, I really do love these things that, oh, well, you got a B grade for the draft. How the hell do you know what grade you got?
Right.
They haven't played it down yet.
They haven't played a professional down yet.
In 2017, we got right after the draft A grades from everybody. That is by far the single worst draft in the history of the Miami Dolphins organization.
Exactly.
So the grades thing, 2017, it was Cordrea Tankersley, Isaac Asiata, who quit to be a cop. I mean, we drafted guys who didn't want to be in the league. Vincent Taylor, Raekwon got hurt in the first preseason game, was never the same since. Charles Harris, who went to the Lions and was like, but here he didn't do nothing. Like that draft was awful. We got A grades the day after that draft.
That's why I give no credence to these stupid Mel Kipers.
You can't grade someone who's never played a professional game down whatever.
No. I think no, you're right. But I think what you can do though is like what Atlanta did. Like there's no logic behind that. Like why you give a guy $100 million and no trade clause and draft a quarterback at 8? It's like that's like
he's 27.
Yeah, who's going to be 27 by the time he's on the field because you pay Kirk Cousins all this money. So, like, if you want to give them an F, not necessarily for the player, not a reflection on Penix. He didn't do anything wrong. Just what's your logic? And I think, like I said at the top with Miami, the logic behind the picks are we're going to not be able to afford all these big money guys. We got to move on from Chubb. Well, we got an edge rush to replace him. We got to move on from Marcel. We got a left tackle. So I don't know if the guy's going to be any good. Patrick Paul might be Richmond Webb. Patrick Paul might stink on toast. I don't know. But at least the logic behind adding them, I understand what they're trying to do. And that's where I think you can grade them like ABC, like, okay, this makes logical sense. I see their long-term plan. Even if these guys don't play this year, I see where they want to go, what they're trying to do. And if the picks work out, great. And if they don't, I'll try again next year's draft. That's all
it'll be the same old thing if they don't.
Every year there's a draft, so it's not like.
Do you want to know the one thing? I was listening to Pat Kerwin and Jim Miller on NFL radio, and they in talking about Atlanta, what they were saying because the things with the tampering with who was it they were tampering with?
Cousins, wasn't it?
No, it was Cousins.
Yeah.
Cousins,
the
trainer.
Yeah, well, they said that the potential for them to possibly lose a first-round draft pick next year or the year after is still there, and their logic was they wouldn't be in a position to draft a quarterback. So while they may not be at number 8 again for a while, so that was why.
Bob, think about it. They also got entranced with it. It's an African-American lefty quarterback who's athletic. The last time they did that, it was Michael Vick.
Yeah, that too. But,
you know what I mean?
Well, and here's one thing that nobody's talking about is, yes, the Atlantic pick, it's a head scratcher, but look at what Green Bay did. They had Favre. They drafted Rodgers. He sat there for 4 or 5 years. Then he played. They drafted Love. He sat there for 4 or 5 years. Now he's playing. Maybe that's Atlanta's plan, and none of us are close enough to the organization.
On the flip side, those guys were picked in the 20s and later. When you're in the top 10, you can get an instant impact player to help them now, especially in the NFC South, which ain't nothing great. And it would help them put them over the top.
It's the worst league. It's the worst league in the NFL.
And if you took whoever, if they took a wide receiver, if they took an edge rusher, if they took an offensive lineman, that would help them, win the South this year. You win the South, you get a home playoff game. You get a home playoff game, anything can happen. You're at home, and then you're on to the next round. So I understand the approach with the Packers, but those guys were picked like mid-20s, late 20s. They fell in their laps. This didn't fall in their lap. They made a conscious choice. We're taking this guy. And again, if Penix works out, great. Once again, not my problem, not my team. I really don't care. I just think you gave Kirk Cousins $100 million in a no-trade clause. A no-trade? You can't even trade him if you wanted to. So, and plus, those fans have no emotional tie to Kirk Cousins. If he goes out there week 1, they lose 27-10. He throws 3 interceptions. They're going to boo him and say, "Where's Penix?" They don't know Cousins. They're not tied to him emotionally. Or if this was the Vikings, he had been there for how many years? Kirk's our guy. Atlanta fans were like, he ain't our guy. He just got here 5 minutes ago. And so that was where it's a little different.
Yeah. Oh, it's a head scratcher. There's
also,
no doubt.
You got to remember, too, that the Atlanta is in the weakest division, one of the weakest divisions in the NFL, the NFC South. Is pretty much of a weak division. You got the Panthers, you got Tampa Bay, and the Saints. Those teams aren't strong.
And
so
Carolina.
At the end of the day, they still have a chance to win the division.
I mean, they just picked the 5th year up on Kyle Pitts. They don't even use him.
Yeah, they barely used him last year.
I'm surprised.
Now back to what Mike was talking about with long term. Mike, here's a point that nobody's brought up on any podcast, and I not quite understanding why, but you're talking long term, looking 4 years down the road. These guys, tying them up. They're here for 4 years, 5 years. They're on cheap contracts. You got to remember this draft class that we just did. If we turn out to find some studs, the year before they get there, we're going to have plenty of money because our draft class last year was nothing.
The last 2 years was nothing.
So we're going to have plenty of money to be able to retain and sign these guys.
Yeah, we're set up. Once again, we don't know if any of these players are going to be good or great or anything. We're hoping for the best. I think, honestly, Chop Robinson will never be bad. He might not live up to the hype or what we're hoping for, but he'll never be bad. He'll at least be a contributor on some level. Worst case scenario.
Right.
I think
I think Troy was the pick. We couldn't get up to trade up, and Troy was the pick.
Yeah.
If we weren't going to get him, we were going to go best pass rusher available, and that's what we did. Same thing in the second. They liked Paul.
Right now, right now they're saying we have 10 draft picks for next year.
Right.
So
with the compensation picks,
yeah.
Pretty good. I mean, I'll take that.
So let me ask
how does Howie Roseman always do all these things?
Wheels and
That's
deals,
what I
bro.
want to know. Howie Roseman, man.
Their guys are good too.
Philadelphia and the Ravens and probably San Francisco too, are the three smartest. If you are just following their blueprint, you're going to be okay. Those teams know what they're doing.
Yeah,
They rarely
sure,
screw up.
man.
Their language guys too are good.
And there's a reason they're in like deep in the playoffs most years.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
doubt.
well, 10
Let me ask you all
picks
this
next year
then.
10
So-
picks next year gives Greer room to maneuver and maybe get an extra first, or
Absolutely.
so you never know.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. So one thing that stood out to me is that the fact that Alan Poupard, he does his show, and the one thing he said about Mohamed Kamara was that
Kamara.
he reminded him of Brian Cox. How shocking would it be if Muhammad leapfrog Chop Robinson?
I mean, it's possible.
listen,
He's the most decorated guy coming out of the draft, sack-wise.
Yeah, and I said it last night on Pedro's show. What round did we take Muhammad in?
Fifth.
Fifth.
Yeah, fifth.
Who's our Hall of Fame linebacker that was drafted in the 5th round?
Yep.
Exactly.
And don't forget, Brian Cox was also picked in the 5th round as well.
Right. So I mean, we've had some good luck there in the 5th round with linebackers. Maybe he's the next Brian Cox or Zach Thomas, or maybe he is, maybe he ain't. We're gonna find out.
He's
I
gonna
mean,
learn from Shaq Barrett. They both went to the same school. If he could be anything like Shaq Barrett and have like 50
Right.
sacks over 7 years, shit, take that too.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons I like this draft is you got Patrick Paul, who's going to learn from Armstead. You got Muhammad, who's going to learn from Shaq Barrett for the year that he's there. You got some good veterans there to teach these young kids coming in, and even though they know they're taking their job, hey, Armstead's been a teacher the entire time, even when he's not playing.
Look, Armstead's made his money. He's talking about retirement. It's not like we're kicking him out the door. He's talking about retirement. Now, look, even if he doesn't retire, we're probably still going to kick him out the door. But he's talking about retirement. So there's that. And someone like Chubb as well. Chubb's made his money. Chubb's made more than enough. He's made his NFL money. He signed 2 huge, massive contracts. Aside from being like a top 5 pick in the draft, those guys are going to be open to helping younger guys. Yeah, there are going to be other guys. Not in Miami, just in general, who I'm not going to help you because you're going to take my job. Armstead and Chubb aren't going to be that way. They've got their money in the bank, and they're okay. So they're going to be more open to training or helping a younger kid. There have been times. I remember, I think Terrell Buckley back in the day. We drafted a corner. I forgot who. And he goes, I ain't help. You think I'm helping this guy take my job? I think it was Jimmy to go screw. Pretty much. It was like, yeah, ain't happening. Terrell Buckley was not helping a junk draft pick take his job and put him unemployed. It's like it happens. Ryan Tannehill, when he was with the Titans, when they took the quarterback, Malik, I forget the last name. Willis. He goes, I ain't training. I ain't helping him. I'm not going to be mean to him or rude, but I'm not. He's here for my job. I'm not helping him. That's how NFL players think, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. But there's also the older guys who are near the end of the road, and they're going to be very open to mentoring, tutoring, training because they
trying to win by
get
the time
it.
it's
They made
over.
their money. They're okay.
Well, and that's one thing that those quarterbacks also said, which makes a lot of sense. He goes, they have coaches. Let the coaches earn their money.
Let the coaches coach them. Yeah, not my job. Yeah, which I get that logic too. I love T-Buck, so I'm okay with T-Buck saying that. Because it's true. He's like, I think I'm helping this guy take my job. Would you do that at your job? Most people would say no.
Right. Yeah. The vast majority of them would say no.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like the Sammy Knight era.
Mike, I got a question for you. I read a little story. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Whether you know or not, I don't know. But we took the first receiver, Washington, was Malik, and it's not the one that McDaniel wanted.
No, it's not.
He wanted.
I didn't hear this.
There was a story published that when they put the pick in, Greer wrote the wrong first name down. And then when it came back to the 7th round, Taj was still there, and Greer said to him, do you still want him? And he's like, yes, that's the one I wanted with the earlier pick.
If that's true, it's hilarious. And also, I wouldn't let
so
that out.
Did the agent screw up too on the UDFA?
Yeah, I wouldn't let that out. But I can see how it happened. Same last name, same type of receiver. Both one's 5'8", one's 5'10". Same type of style of play. I can totally see how that happened. It's funny because there's a pick in between those two too. So I'm surprised if they took the wrong one there, that with the Patrick McMorris pick, they didn't try to take the other one there to try and clean it up. And maybe they were like, look, we can't take 2 wide receivers. But then come round 7, maybe there's nobody else they liked. Okay, let's correct the mistake.
That's the story.
That's
when it got
funny
to
if
round
that's true.
7, then
That's funny.
Then Greer said to McDaniel, "Do you still want Taj?" And he's like, "Yes." So they went and picked him.
I heard the same thing.
I think Malik's better than
I haven't
Taj,
read that
so
one
kind
yet.
of was a happy mistake.
I haven't heard it either.
Like,
and that's I'm gonna ask around now.
Dolphins might reunite with Ryan Tannehill. What is this? Dolphins might reunite with Ryan Tannehill.
I don't think
we
that's
don't need
happening.
to.
I mean,
no
I'd be
point.
okay with it because I think he's better than.
I would be okay with it
White.
too.
He's better than
You're going
Mike
to spend
White.
more money. But you're going to
He's
spend more money
than Mike
on
White
getting
and
him.
Skylar Thompson. Seriously.
That's the problem. Now you got to cut Mike White, and that's going to count however much against the cap. I don't know off the top of my head. And then you got to pay Tannehill on top. That's going to cost you more than just keeping Mike White. And let's be honest, something happens to Tua, whether it's Mike White or Ryan Tannehill. I mean, our season's not going to go well. So is it worth eating up the cap space for that? Probably not.
No, we need that money come post June 1st.
He gets on
That's
a one-day deal and retire with us if he wants, but yeah, I'm good on anything else.
for that prestigious career he had here all those years.
He got his ass beat. He kept getting up.
That's true. He kept getting up to the one time he didn't. He kept getting up to the one time he couldn't get up no more.
It just didn't work out. That what-if year is crazy because we had T.J. Yates playing quarterback and Matt Moore almost died on the field, Bud Dupree.
Yeah.
I had after that podcast, we had Phil Simms. No, we had Phil Simms the next year on our podcast, and Phil Simms called that playoff game, and we had him the Tuesday after the Monday night game where we beat the Patriots with Jay Cutler. Remember, Jay Cutler went nuts. It was hitting Jakeem Grant like on Monday night all over the place, and we beat the Patriots. So that was the year after we lost the playoff game. Phil Simms comes on our podcast and goes, "I want to talk about the game from last night, but first, I called that game last year in the playoffs versus Pittsburgh there for CBS." He goes, "I don't know how you guys lost that game. Matt Moore had 1 million plays on the field. If you guys had your quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, you would have won that game by 4 touchdowns." He goes, "As a quarterback, I see things that some people can't see. Matt Moore left so many plays out there when he was out there. He goes, he left so many plays out there that were easy touchdowns. He goes, I've never seen nothing like it." I'm like, "Oh, great. That's making me feel great, Phil. Thanks for coming on."
Matt Moore got killed in that game, too.
He got killed, but when
he would have never been
there,
able to come back.
For Phil, there's a lot of plays to be made.
Hey,
He's a backup
true
quarterback,
story.
too. I can't get mad at him.
True story. When Matt Moore took that hit, 1 minute and 30 seconds later, I looked his name up on Wikipedia, and somebody had gone in and changed it, and it said dead.
You are sick.
I'm surprised they even let him come back in the game. If it was in today's game, there would have been 0 chance. But yeah, he came back.
Oh, yeah, they would never. Yeah, they would never.
No.
You could tell he was concussed, but yeah, I mean, J.J. killed it for us that year. He was running wild on the Bills.
3 200-yard games.
Yeah, I have his cleat over there somewhere from the Bills game.
Oh, yeah, Tom.
I tell you what, it
Tom
wasn't as bad as the
Treasure
Pat White hit. I can tell you that.
Oh my God, he got decapitated too. Was that Monday Night Football wearing the orange jerseys? I got all excited for him. Was like on the sideline, 1 play done, never again.
I was at
He's
the
coaching
game.
with the Chargers.
Yeah, I was at the game with John Beck at the Bills. I'm at the game where it's somewhat close early on. It was so cold, windy, and snowy. He throws the pass. When he goes back, the ball slips out of his hands, falls right into the Bills' defender, runs 50 yards, whatever far he ran for a touchdown. I'm like, we have with Pat White, John Beck, A.J. Feely, with Chad Henne, like there was that stretch where like we could do no right at quarterback. And, when it comes to Tua, yeah, that was just so bad. And, people complain about Tua, and I understand the criticism. Some of them are fair, some of them are not. It's like, again, I understand why they're paying him, because if you don't pay him, at some point, I don't know what you do if you don't pay him. So I get it, but we had such a long stretch of bad quarterback play. And now we got John Beck tutoring to it, which is great because those who can't teach, let him teach because he couldn't as a player.
Right. It's usually how it goes. Look at Orlovsky. Orlovsky couldn't really play.
Oh, he's great on TV. He's amazing. Yeah. You can break it down.
They're good teachers. The mind is there, just the talent isn't.
Exactly. And look, that's a lot of great coaches are that way, and a lot of great players who try to become coaches. Yeah, there's some where it works. It worked with Larry Bird. It's worked with now at Colorado with Dion. It's working, but that's rare. most of your great coaches were like run-of-the-mill players or nothing special. And your great players, when they try to coach, doesn't always usually work because they can't break it down. They can just do, and they'll be like, just do it. Well, it's not that easy, guy. You could just do it. You were special. Not everyone can.
You're a test tube baby. Come on now, help me
Exactly.
help
So that's what it is. But guys, I got to leave you here. I do thank you for having me on.
Listen, I want to thank you for coming on. I want to thank you as the co-owner of Dolphin Nation 305 for all the posts that you sit there and put up. I appreciate that personally.
Thank you.
And dude, listen, we appreciate you having my brother on there. We're going to be having Jason on I think either next week or in a couple weeks. Jason will be on here. So we appreciate having you on.
Anytime you guys need me, just let me know. I'll be on again for sure. Thank you so much, guys. I do appreciate it. Have a good night.
Appreciate
have a fun off season. Have a nice summer. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Mike, thanks for being here, brother.
All right. See you guys.
Peace, love, and fins up.
What's up, Mike?
Let's go.
Oh, God, I'm never behind him.
Crazy Dolphin. What's up, Crazy Dolphin?
Hey, what's going on, Papa Paul, Dolphin Winners, John?
What's up, Mr. Polk?
What's good,
Bob, Shake Money. How's it?
What's up, Mr. Polk?
Oh, nothing much. I'm pretty satisfied with the draft and what have you. Like I said, not if anybody asks me, no, I'm not making no predictions and what have you. But I'm just happy for the draft for right now, and just can't wait till the football season starts.
I feel you, Bob. I feel you.
I'm about to go, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, you about to fall asleep?
Listen, Bob. Listen, we appreciate
we're keeping Bob awake tonight.
Yeah, I'm old, man. I gotta get up 5:30 in the morning.
Bob, I gotta be up at 4. You ain't saying nothing.
I can't say that. Sorry, screw that.
No, you can. No, you can. You're fine.
Okay, fuck that.
Bob, thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Bob, always good.
I'll see you guys soon. Like I said, next on the agenda is SoCal picnic, and then planning the trips for the season. Let's go, baby! Another year.
Yes, sir.
Year 3 of all the road trips.
Well, miss meeting up with you, Bob. You have a great week and a great weekend, brother.
And Bob, you ever want to come back, just jump on, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Well, I'll save the link now that Paul sent it to me. So, but looking forward to Green Bay this year. Let's go.
As long as it's not December.
Early.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute. After Casey, I don't give a shit. Nothing. Bro. That was the worst game I ever. No, forget the outcome. That was the worst game weather.
Oh my God!
How did you keep from getting limbs chopped off?
Because I bought enough cold weather gear that I could have went to the North Pole. But still, even so, you know, we were initially on that game. We had Chris Carroll and I had first row seats in the lower level. And I just told Chris and Carol, I said, look, let's not be stupid about this. And so we wound up buying club seats and put those seats on sale. It took a beating, like a $500 beating on those tickets. But we wound up sitting up in the club level, still row 1 in the club level, so it was good. But it was, and even having the proper gear for that, it was. I don't care, man. That's too cold. And we spent the entire third quarter on the concourse, whatever you want to call it. It was enclosed and heated because it took a whole quarter to heat up, to warm up, even with all that heavy duty, thick gear and snow pants and thermals and heated gloves and heated vests. And, you know, they even Kansas City even waived the, you know, I don't get it. Most of these are like Buffalo, and they won't let you wear heated gear in. They won't. If you have like heated vests, heated gloves, you got to take that shit out and forget it. They don't want you to come in with that. But they even waived the rule for that particular game. They said you can come in with your battery packs and all this crap. Not that it really made that much of a difference when it's minus 40 with minus like 6 or 8 with the wind blowing like 20 miles an hour. It didn't make any difference.
Yeah.
Everything was just cutting through. It was so ridiculously cold. That was a travesty they even played that game. So the truth of the matter is, I don't think I'll ever bitch at a 25-degree game again in Buffalo. I don't think I'll ever bitch about that compared to minus 40. But yeah, so I mean, I'm hoping. Listen, there's no way. Like last season, we had it really good. We only had a couple cold games. This season, there's no way. Playing in Seattle, playing in Green Bay, playing in Cleveland, plus the Northeast games.
Well, we get two.
Indy's not going to be a problem.
Huh? 3 domes. We get 3 domes.
Yeah, well,
maybe
Indy is fine. Houston, which is no big deal.
If we get Detroit, it would be nice to be 3 of them.
No, we're not playing Detroit. We're playing
Detroit.
We're playing Seattle, Green Bay, Houston, Indy.
The Rams.
Yeah, but that's LA. I'm talking about like we're going to really be bad. We're cold weather potential. Well, then of course
New England. I'll be in New England. I'll be at New England. So.
Cleveland could be cold too.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. There's just no way this year you're going to escape. We're going to have a cold game. That schedule, there's no freaking way we're going to.
And the Jets, you could throw the Jets in there because you don't know how the weather's going to be in New Jersey.
They're flip-flopping that schedule
for
too,
some
September
reason,
I've always, December.
For some reason, I don't know whether it's the way that Pet Stadium is positioned, but for some reason, I've always been cold there. It's like the sun goes down early.
It's the wind. Yeah.
The wind,
the wind circulates off the water, the Hudson.
The Hudson River, the wind. Forget it. You know, it's always cold. But Tennessee was cold too. 2 January, 3 January.
Yeah.
Well, that was the only time I ever got COVID was because I was stupid enough, even when we were getting blown out, but because I was right next to the TV, I was soaking wet and 30-degree with the wind blowing, and I was soaked. And I stayed out there for 3 hours. And that was the only time I ever got really sick at a game. I mean, I've gotten colds before, but I got sick for a couple days. But,
well, real quick, everyone, I want to give a little update with our subscribers and everything. It was only a month ago that we were pushing for 200 or so. Last week alone, we had over 800 subscribers.
Nice.
And we didn't even have a show last week.
Wow. Yeah.
And officially, as of right now, we are over 1,200 subscribers.
Awesome.
That's very nice. Thank you, everybody.
Nice.
Yeah. That's good.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Love and fins up, brother.
Fins up is right. Let's go.
Let's go.
See you guys soon.
Peace, brother.
What time are you done tomorrow?
I am done at 2:30 tomorrow.
I might hit you up because I don't know if I'm going to go to the game, but I'm definitely going to go to the hotel. But I'm not trying to drive in Philly at like 3 or 4 o'clock because it's going to be hell getting in. So I might come in early, go get something to eat and chill. You know what I mean?
Well, just let me know. Let me know exactly. Just hit me up exactly and let me know where you're at.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I got to go down Center City, but like for a 7 o'clock, they usually leave at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. But for a 9 o'clock, it's going to be probably like 6:30, 7-ish time. So I'm gonna have some time to kill.
Okay.
If you're free anyway.
Yeah, just let me know. Dude. After 1:30, 2 o'clock, I should be out of work about 2:30-ish. You just let me know what's up, and I can meet you at the local bar down Center City. I'll tell you where I'm at.
Heard that.
But talking about that, somebody sent me something.
Better use than I would have had for it. Hell yeah.
So,
I'm glad it made it quick. For the love of Philly. If it didn't have the Sixers logo, I was all links. I do love Philly, but
all I know is, look, I know you're a Knicks fan, but dude, I wouldn't be foolish and try to do a whole bunch of celebrating here in Philly. I think you might want to go back to Jersey or New York, across the bridge and celebrate.
I get it. I'm not crazy. I mean, if it was the Eagles or the Phils, I'd be a little bit more concerned. The Sixers fans aren't that crazy.
Oh no, trust me, they act stupid anyway. Appreciate you, Tom. Definitely.
Always, bro.
My brother Tom sent me this through the mail. Even as a rival fan, he looked out. So I appreciate you, brother.
Hey,
Thank
you the one who
you.
draws
Give it
jerseys,
out.
right, Tom?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, I gotta message you. I wanna make a Shake Money jersey.
Definitely, bro.
Dolphins.
I'll probably do another one in like I don't know. I've been waiting for like 10 days for those last 9 pieces. As soon as these last 9 pieces, I can put an order in, basically. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be very soon when I do another one. So I got you, no problem.
Nine pieces of 450.
Yeah. So it's like it just sucks like having to hang and wait for these last ones. It's like, oh, I shipped them, and it's like, oh, where the fuck are they? But like, at the same time, it's like, I got everything else and everything else was good. So it's like I get it. Sometimes you forget things or materials are tight or whatever the case may be,
Well, I just want to bring this pic up. If y'all didn't see my one birthday present, this here I got from my father-in-law. He had went to like 4 or 5 or 6 different Super Bowls back in the day, and he was sent there by his company he worked for. It was a computer company. He was one of the top salesmen. So he had found this one that he had with the Dolphins on it from Marino, and gave it to me. And that's to me is my best birthday present I've had, because that to me is just total. I said something about maybe at DCC, if I can get to him or something, maybe Marino will sign it. And some people are like, why would he sign that? He didn't win it. It doesn't matter. He's not an asshole. Maybe he can be sometimes, but yeah.
He's
just like anybody, moody.
Yeah. Well, hell, I'm moody at times too. It depends on how much I had to drink or not.
Well, think about it, he's been getting it since he was like 15 years old, and he's 62 now. So I mean, it comes with the territory. You want to be popular and famous, you're going to get that notoriety. So it's pros and cons of it. So it's everybody has good days and bad days.
But I mean that I personally I have never seen one of those before. So
yeah, those are sick.
You have, John?
I have one.
I have one too.
Well, I have another one
that's broken.
I've never seen one, like that. I didn't know if it was just something special they gave out to certain people that year or what.
Yeah, I have one that exact mug in my cabinet.
He's got like, I think 4 others up on his dresser at home.
John, you got the Stein topper ones, right, too? You got them as well? The topper ones, the Steins with the top. You got the Steins with the toppers on them too, right? I think.
Oh yeah. Those are something that Danbury Mint made. Those are.
That's what.
Yeah. Those 3 are over here.
Yeah, this one here was given out to him. He had like 4 or 5 of them, like I said, that was given out to him each year he went, and he went like 4 or 5 or 6 years in a row for being top salesman.
All right.
But it's been a good week. My proof that I did pick Chop Robinson is actually on at Facebook UK Miami Dolphins fan club. They were asking people to pick their who's going to be the first round pick and everything. I said I'd really like JPJ, but I have a feeling we're going to pick Chop Robinson. And it worked.
I was a little bit off because I was hoping we'll pick a
Troy
interior offensive lineman, but I wasn't too far off, so I'm happy with the pick.
I think we did okay with our picks. I'm not.
Me too.
I'm not upset.
I mean, my whole thing is not to cut you off, Paul. The way I look at it is a lot of people we were complaining about depth, and I think we got depth. And that's what we've been needing.
Honestly, with the picks we made and the signings we did for free agency, we got a ton of depth right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Now it's going to come down to who we keep and stuff.
Correct.
Right. And then also too, we can throw in, and I know people get tired of me saying that, we still have Butch Berry, and he's been doing a good job with bringing in veteran players and plugging them in, also developing some of the young players. So
something Miami hasn't done it forever. You know what I mean? 20 years and not developing guys, letting them go other places, and now the last 2 years, you see this guys like Jackson, Guys like Eichenberg's taking strides, I guess, better, but not there yet. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
But you're there.
Well, Jackson could have been. I mean, you know, you got to remember, Armstead helps out a lot too. Having Butch Berry is fantastic. Armstead back there to teach these younger guys the techniques that he's been doing.
Yeah,
coach on the field, he loves it too. I think he coaching after he
I
retires.
agree. I agree with you. I agree. With
I think he'll definitely be an offensive line coach somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. He knows his body can't hold up, but his mind's still there.
And then, you know, we don't know what we're going to get from Weaver. And I think he's going to be, I'm hoping that he's going to be successful. That's what I'm leaning towards. So, we'll see.
Absolutely. The only person I was like kind of like that I wanted, but I understand DePaul, and the more you hear about DePaul's story, you kind of love and fall in love with it, and the guy and the whole everything about the whole story. I kind of wanted Haynes there in the second, or BB, just to get that interior guy because we missed out on Troy. But I'm totally okay with Patrick as well as being like a down the road guy for them. You knew that Trotter in the 5th was going to go to the Eagles. They traded up to get him, and I was sitting there. I was like, oh my God, we're about to get our backer. And then you see where he's going. He's going to wear the same numbers Dad wore, come from the same alma mater, not the same body type. But, you know, being coming out that tunnel the first time, you're going to see a lot of craziness for that kid.
Of course.
Just looking at some of these draft picks that we picked, what I'm liking is you can see in some of them, I'm not saying all of them, but you can see in some of them, Chop, Paul, a couple others, you could really see they have heart.
Yeah.
There's a cohesive vision.
They got heart in college, but that's got to transfer over to the NFL.
And,
you know, it's the same thing. Like I say all the time, Zach Thomas didn't go to the 5th round, and his heart is as big as he is, and that's why he lasted and ended up being in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, exactly. I mean, to me, Zach Thomas, his story really should be a movie. His story should be a movie. You think about it. You know, he was telling me, and I heard it was like, what, 5? I think you might know it, John. 5 years old, he got his head run over by a truck. Then I think he was 11 and he drowned.
Almost drowned.
You know, almost
drowned. You know, and then everyone in college telling him he's too small to make it in the NFL.
Exactly.
I mean, his whole life story right through there. I mean, all the way up to getting into the Hall of Fame is a movie.
All it takes is that one chance. You know what I mean?
And Jimmy Johnson gave him that chance and then cut Tom, what's his name? Ended up being a coach.
Oh, fuck. What are you talking about? Oh, man.
2 words. What the fuck is his name? We had a starting linebacker, and Zach ended up replacing him, and that was the end of his career. He ended up being a coach.
Yeah,
well, I got a question. I got a question for everybody. What's your thought on Ross turning down $10 billion for?
I think it's smart. He's going to make more money on F1, even if the Dolphins don't do anything. F1, National Playoff Championship, boxing matches. He wants that to keep in the family. That's generational.
Concerts.
More than generational wealth.
And I understand that. I agree with you. I want to know what everyone thought on it because it was really crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, none of us knew it until it came out. So I mean, it's you know.
But you look at it. It was in an article last year, I think, that the F1 alone, he makes more in those 3 days than he makes in a whole season of football.
Right.
Yeah.
It's one of the richest sports in the world. It's one of the richest sports in the world that's been going on. F1's been going on. They've been itching to get to America. Finally, they have a good contract. Not just only with Miami, but with Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas might be better, and it's expanding. So, yeah. So they've been.
They also got the tennis too with the Williams sisters. So you got that aspect too. So you have
absolutely
3 sports essentially going.
Well,
and
Coco up and coming Coco Golf.
Right. So I mean, if he holds on to it 5 years from now, somebody might offer him 20 billion.
It's a strong offer for sure.
Well, if he's still alive 5 years from now.
Yeah, but even if he's not, if his daughter's in control, you know.
I'll be honest with you. I would hold out for more because he's going to probably make, like I say, him and his family are going to make way more than what they're going to offer him. That $10 billion. Seriously.
Think about it. That's the one good thing that happened to him coming from all this bullshit with the league and the tampering. is that this was going to Brandon Shore, Bradley Beal, whatever Beal and Shore were going to take over for him. As soon as they got hit with all, he said, you know what? That's fine. My daughter's going to have it. I'm going to put a racetrack in, tennis courts. I'm going to make billions. Don't you worry. This is my fuck you back to you.
Yeah.
You want
I'm
to
going
sue
to
me? Go
upgrade the
for it.
stadium and the training facility and everything
Go
else.
ahead, Flo. How much money you got to go to court with me forever? You're going to go against the NFL and me? Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got $1 million lawyers on retainer that he picks up the phone, hits number one, and they're at his feet.
One
Yep.
sheet of TP for him. Single ply.
Yep. Well, one draft pick we haven't talked about is the running back we took out of Tennessee.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Another Jalen.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited. No, another
So how,
10.
so,
Well,
yeah.
here,
How many
here's
Jalen's does that make?
four.
That's five or four
Four.
Jalen's.
Four.
That's four
But
Jalen's.
here's a shirt I'm working on. There's going to be Coach Mike there. He's going to yell out Jalen, and he's going to have a bubble in his head where it's Jalen, but all spelled all four ways. And it's going to be like half the bench is going to be turning around, going, "Yeah, Coach." You know.
No, I think there's only three spellings. Two of them spell it the same way.
Yeah, three are like Jalen Water with the Y.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I put a comment on somebody's post, and I forget who it was. They put up something. I said, "Yeah, we're the Jalen Dolphins now."
Like never
Exactly.
lied. Like
I
never
mean,
lied.
I was
I
telling
only need to get Ramsey to finish that damn canvas, the Ed and Eddie with the three Jalen spelled different.
Yeah,
That's all I
right.
got left. Dude, it's going to take me forever. He's the hardest one. I knew it going in. He just doesn't like to sign. He's not a mean guy. He's private, but he's also quiet. He
I was
just does not
telling
like to
Saul,
sign.
I
You see
said,
it
we
through his whole
signed
career.
another
4
Jalen. He's
deals
like,
in,
no, we did not. I
10
said,
years in the
yeah,
league.
we
He just won't
did.
do it. Two
Yep.
were a rookie and a college were his first two. He didn't even want to do one after the Rams won in 2020. He begrudgingly did like a half of a show and left in the back. He's tough. So I need that to finish it.
Well, this kid Jalen, I see him as a Chan 2.0.
Hell
Little
yeah.
taller, little heavier, but almost the same speed. He averaged 7.4 yards a carry in college this year. When he hits the hole, he's gone.
23.7 miles an hour unofficial time.
Right.
I'm telling you, they run a lot of double tight end.
And the only one who is faster than him unofficial time is actually a Chan.
Yeah.
And Hill and Mostert and Waddle, the speed is just craziness. They literally have an Olympic relay team.
They do.
Yeah.
They
They
really
got a
do.
4x4 relay team.
So did Hill.
But it's another player that y'all not mentioned that's pretty fast that's still on the team.
Adam Bonner?
No, exactly.
Ethan Bonner?
Who said that?
Ethan Bonner?
Right, Ethan Bonner.
Tom
Because,
said that, yeah.
He just changed his number too, didn't he?
Well, Mike,
Reek mentioned him.
our long snapper just changed his number.
Bonner did too. I think Bonner's in the 27 or 38. He changed his number. I can't remember, but I did see the Blake Ferguson thing. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Ferguson changed his for one of the kids that they drafted, right?
Yeah, he changed it for Chop.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. He changed it for Chop, and he's taken his number 48. But if you have a number 44 Ferguson jersey, you can mail it to him, and he will send you back a number 48 Ferguson jersey signed.
David Long's doing the exchange as well for 11 because he's going from 51 to 11. Just post a picture on his.
I forgot. We got David Long on the team. Oh,
and then Jalen Wright is wearing 25, Xavier Howard's old number.
I gotta find out what Ethan Bonner ran in.
Welcome, Mountie. Thank you for joining us.
Up, Mountie?
Hey, what's going on,
Mountie?
guys? How y'all doing?
Not bad, yourself?
Hey, I'm hanging.
So, what's your thoughts on the draft?
I've just heard in passing that I know that Chop Robinson is he's got some good upside. He's got a lot of good qualities. I've heard some people were just kind of over exaggerating. I don't know if it was just trolling or what, but they're saying, well, he's the next Micah Parsons, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I said that earlier. If he's 80% of Parsons, we still got a great pick.
Yeah, he's a great pick. I like him.
And not to cut you off, Mountie, when they selected him in the draft, that was one of the comments they were saying that he's like a raw version of Michael Parsons. So
Yeah.
what
Off
they're
the mountain.
saying that he has the upside like Parsons, but needs development.
Well, he's very athletic. That's for damn sure.
He's
Yeah.
quick. He's long. He's athletic. Where he
Right.
lacks height, he has the length. But he's got to get coached up. It's all comes down to it. And you know how it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
Team
That's
and
it.
just the way they develop and the way these guys are used. He's
Jack
gonna
Del Rio.
get good early though. Jack Del Rio would be good.
No,
Duh.
that's the one Zach replaced. Jack Del Rio.
Immediately. Duh. Yeah.
Wait, where is Jack Del Rio right now?
I think
Nah,
he's
Still
in
coaching?
Vegas or no.
Defensive
He was in
coordinator,
Washington,
He's still
Redskins at
coaching,
first.
right?
Redskins.
Left
Oh,
there.
Redskins.
Okay. I always did like him.
Defensive coordinator, correct?
Yeah, he was the head coach of the
Yeah.
Jacks too.
Yeah, he was a head
What
coach.
did
He
at
was
one
with the
point.
Raiders, with the Cowboys, I think.
Yeah, he's been around. He's bounced around. He's
Jacksonville.
Well, wasn't he head coach with Jacksonville? Right?
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Mark
saying.
Trudell
Yeah.
and Garrard. He was right after Fossil, I think, before Fossil went to the Giants.
Yep, that's who Zach Thomas. They cut Del Rio so Zach could start.
They've done that a few times with their star players. I feel like it's like once a generation with them. Every 10 years, somebody's getting replaced. It's like but it worked.
I think I mean, if I had to assign a grade to our draft, I think it's probably about a C plus, B minus, maybe.
Well, you're talking to the wrong group, Mountie, because none of us will give it a grade because ain't none of them ever played a game in the NFL.
Well, yeah. I mean, based on the draft, based on the preliminaries, yes.
I like our UDFAs, to be honest with you. I like a few of them.
Oh yeah, no, there's 3 or 4 kids that are on that list that could make the team. I know 3 or 4 won't make the team, but
I like the safety out of TCU a lot. I like the guard out of UTEP a lot. And I like them taking a chance on the basketball kid because why not? As well as Storm Duck because you like his name.
yeah,
No,
we
I
could
like
we could
Storm.
have a cheetah, a penguin, and a duck.
Yeah, that's another shirt. I said
But there's no man
if he
in that
makes a
tonight.
Oh
team,
my goodness. Boy,
if he makes the team, I said you can have a shirt where it's him standing over a player he just tackled and says, "You've been ducked."
Quack, quack, quack. Start with
Alex Butsky, if you're watching and Duck makes the team, you got to go get a duck costume.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
I just don't. I mean, obviously, this is just somewhat of a fetish for McDaniel, I guess. But he seems to like these smaller type of running, these faster type of running backs. Like, there may be times where we cannot score before the 20. So we need a running back, like my coach used to say. He likes running backs that nobody wants to tackle.
Yeah,
Guys that's 230, 25, 30, 40 pounds. That guys get stronger as the game go on.
Chris Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, we got
the
Brooks,
league is changing
He's a
though.
big back.
but yeah,
Is he going to get any?
But
And he's going to get any place? Any burn though?
Right, but see, here's the thing. We may talk about him being dinged up, but wasn't A-Chain dinged up too?
oh, absolutely, they all were. That's why they took a running back.
Let's not throw what you got here. You got a rookie and Chris Brooks and A-Chain. So when these guys get healthy, you use somebody like Chris Brooks in the third down and short or in the red zone. That's what you do. You got to utilize these guys.
Well, I mean, Acham was dinged up. Mostert was dinged up. That's why they took this kid to be the 3rd or 4th string guy. So come mid-season into the season, they still got a guy with speed.
Right.
So games that can be played in cold weather, Cleveland's could be a cold weather game.
Yeah, Cleveland, Green Bay.
Indianapolis could be, might not be. You don't know.
Yeah, but that's a dome. So.
That doesn't count.
Seattle,
New England.
Depending when it
yeah,
is.
Seattle, the Bills, and New England.
Yep.
Yeah, the other 3 teams in our division can all be cold games depending on when we play them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, usually. Well, you saw how the Dolphins' schedule has been recently. Like 2 years ago, it was 2 games in September for the Jets. Then it was 2 games in December. and then it's been split 1-1, one warm, one cold. So we've been trying to get the cold time at home.
And after the debacle 2 years ago, they switched the Buffalo game to early in the year in Miami, or later in the year in Miami, earlier in Buffalo. So there was no snow, no snowballs.
Go.
Well, I got a question to ask the panel. In 72, when we had the perfect season, didn't you put some teams up in cold weather?
Oh, absolutely. The AFC Championship game was played in Pittsburgh because back then they didn't do it by seed. It was a round robin, and that year it was their division's turn. So even though Miami was undefeated, they had to play the AFC Championship game in Pittsburgh.
On the road.
On the road, and they were undefeated.
Right. So what I'm trying to say, I know, right. But so what I'm trying to say is, I mean, I may be misunderstood, but I think, if with the right mindset, we can play in cold weather and be successful.
Listen, most of the kids that play professional football, a lot of them played in cold weather in college.
Right.
It's the fact that they come down, they get used to the warm weather.
Mm-hmm.
They get, their blood thins out a little bit as they're there longer. So when they get in the colder games, is it a factor? Yes. Just like if we can have some home playoff games, the heat will be a factor for teams like Buffalo, New England, Cleveland, Baltimore, where they're getting colder during the year. Yeah, Miami gets colder. It goes from the 90s to the 80s.
I mean, think about it, though, too. Two of the bad games in cold weather are sleeting rain in Tennessee, and Flores decided, hey, fuck you, Tua. We're going to throw the ball 40 times instead of running the damn ball. And then you get a negative 40 in Kansas City. When Tua came back from the head.
And Buffalo, the playoff game in Buffalo was cold.
Right. But
and we still
even that game before he got hurt, he played well in December. They lost that game like 22-19. Like, he played well in that game. It was right after he came back before he got hurt again. It was what, like a week or two before Green Bay on Christmas, where he looked fantastic in the first half, and when you could see the drastic 3 passes in a row in the second half.
Yeah, well, you could see when he got hit, he just landed on the back of his head.
Right, and you just saw the change. Like, the action's not there, the slow, delayed. Yeah, like, he just wasn't right. But he played well. The point was, he played well in December in Buffalo. He's played decent in some of these games. Like, it can't just be always his fault at all times.
No, listen, you know me. I blame the coach first. Play calling, not adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They could play it anywhere. It's just a matter of, like, happenstance of the situation.
Yeah, that's why I brought up that.
Absolutely.
Well, this year is going to be a big telltale for McDaniel as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Or whole happy
if he can make the proper adjustments at all this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to, because you can't go into a third. Well, I call it a third season where you're running the same scheme and the teams are already other teams are already aware of it. So you have to change. You have to change up. Plus, you drafted. We went and got a couple tight ends in free agency and what have you. So to me, hopefully that's a sign that there's some changes coming as far as the offensive scheme go, because now it's not just Tyreek and Waddle you throwing to. You got these tight ends and what have you, and backs coming out the backfield. That you
as the great wonder Mr. John O'Hanlon says, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, wait and see what he changes, how he changes, if he changes.
Yeah, just don't become reliant, predictable on those 7 routes. You just can't.
Well, and that my biggest thing I want to see change, and John knows what it is pitching the ball 5 yards back for a running back or wide receiver to run 10 yards and only actually gain 2 or 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too many things need to be perfect on that type of play, especially when you don't have your A-level personnel in the game. That guard pulling is so important. The tackle sealing off the edge is so important because Ingles going to do the job, but if the tight end, the guard, and the tackle on that side that's coming to aren't doing their job, it's a beeline, easy licking their chops as a middle linebacker in the whole sand.
Well,
Here
that's
it is.
With the running back we picked up and all and other things, people were saying, well, Ahmed's gone. I said, well, Wilson's no, we'll keep 6, running backs. Well, I said, you got to think of Ingold. You got the fullback Ingold in there too. You know, I think Ahmed and Wilson are both going to be gone.
It could be, and
It's-
money wise, it makes more sense to get rid of Wilson. He makes a lot more than Ahmed does.
Right.
and it's going to depend on how training camp goes, as we know.
I agree with that, Papa Paul. As far as the
But
running back
I'll
goes.
be at the whole first week of training camp. Anybody wants to meet up?
Yeah,
I know we still got a couple months. It's usually the last week or the last 2 weeks of July.
July, I heard. Want to, but I'll say. I know I got Yanks Phil's that last week of July, and then Yanks Baltimore 2 weeks before that.
All right, guys, it's that time of the night for me.
Damn, calling.
So I'm going to call it a night. Thanks again. Missed everybody last week. Papa Paul, hope you had a great vacation on that cruise. Everybody else, it's always good to see you.
Fins up, family.
Unfortunately, this is the time of year now where nothing goes on for the month of May because we got to wait till post June 1st. So obviously we can still get together every week and talk, but there's going to be nothing major.
On the contrary, we go on during the month of May.
Right. But other than that, it's just, we can still get together and talk, but there's going to be no big news until a month from today, June 1st.
Yeah.
Here, Renfro and Dalton Reisner would be nice.
So everybody have a good night. Those of you that are out there watching us and like and subscribe, thank you very much. You're what makes this show go. And I'll see everybody next week. Peace, love, and fins up.
Brother.
Fins up, brother.
I'm right behind him. Winners, I'll call you tomorrow. Pop Paul.
Yes, sir. Peace, love, fins up, Tom.
Peace, love, fins up, John.
You or go.
Oh.
Okay, well,
Crazy Dolphin, what do you guys have to say? We're gonna probably be wrapping this up probably in about the next, I'd say about 10 to 15 minutes.
Well, it's just like what John said and what have you. We just have to wait and see. But I just have a good positive feeling, not a strong one, but a good positive feeling about what's coming. About our team. So, especially what we did in the draft. So just like you said, we just gotta wait and see. Just gotta see what happens when the lights come on and the guys are on the field. That's what we have to just wait and see.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with being positive. Positive is what gets things done.
That's for real.
Dreams do come true.
So
and there's nothing wrong with being a dreamer.
Right. Yeah.
Mountie, you got anything else to say? Still there, Mountie?
I think we lost them.
When did you have anything else to say?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody tuning all in from all different outlets, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Like John O'Halen said earlier, you guys is what make this show happen. And thank you guys for helping us get to 1,200 subscribers. And to all future subscribers, we welcome everybody with open arms. Paul, thank you very much for another good show this week. Crazy Dolphin, Mr. Polk, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Mountie, I want to thank our special guest tonight, David Lozado from the Dolphins, Dolphin Nation of Mexico. Our brother Bob Sampson, aka Finn Fasson, and Mr. Mike Olivia. Definitely be looking forward to having him back on from DolphinsTalk.com. Please support all your fellow Miami Dolphin content creators. That's what makes us go. You guys make us go every single day, even when there's nothing to report. We still talk about Miami Dolphin football. So with that being said, Papa Paul, I appreciate you, brother. Love you, my man. Love everybody that's been watching. And
like you said, I love everybody, appreciate everybody who's been watching, listening. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And, without my Finn family, my Finn laws, I don't know if I'd be around. Y'all strive me on keeping on going, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all have a blessed night, a blessed week, and fins up, everybody.
Peace, love, fins up. Y'all take care now.
You
Appreciate
too.
y'all.